I've been waiting to review these Lapis episodes since that I've scrapped this episode review ideal when I reviewed the Lapis episode from Future back in October of 2021. Then again, my knowledge of this show isn't the same as of now, but at the same time, I was really into these Steven Universe episodes, and with today being the time I'm gonna be reviewing these Lapis episodes, it's honestly the better alternative. After unfusing from Jasper from the events of Super Watermelon Island, Lapis was preparing to leave the barn, but at the same time she has nowhere to go, so she and Steven go around the world, well not really around the world, but the locations that they're close to have Steven show Lapis on where she can spend her life at. The majority of the episode is, of course, Lapis and Steven going to different places, and it's mainly on how that Lapis is trying to cooperate herself after being unfused. And to tell you the truth, what I actually enjoyed from this episode during my first binge watch was mainly the return of Lapis after the events from the finale of season 1. The most memories that I had with my first binge watch was mainly the return of Lapis, and to tell you the truth, back then my perspective towards the following episodes were a lot more different, because I always view Lapis as being a much more happy character, knowing that she was free from being in a forced relationship, and toxic relationship at that. But at the same time, that's where my knowledge of the characters were honestly not on point until now. So rewatching this episode, it made me understand on how that the direction of this episode was indicating Lapis' development in future episodes for how she's behaving differently than how she was behaving in this episode, because the only character that she shows sympathy is Steven, who helped her out in the events of Mia and Ocean Gem and completely fixing her gem. And considering that even though that he didn't save Lapis when it comes to Super Watermelon Island, she was willing to forgive Steven and show her sympathy towards Steven, since that he was the closest that she can go to. With them centering around going to Empire City, which is going to be an episode of its own in the next couple of days, I really got the impression that Steven is just trying his best to showcase of what the world is outside Beach City, and the fact that he actually named different towns, and I'm pretty sure it's not made up. I'm pretty sure that they probably want to put more of the focus on Beach City and not in different locations, and Empire City having an episode of its own is literally the best that we're ever going to see places outside of Beach City. And considering that this episode makes fun of New Jersey, well in this show's universe it's called Jersey, it probably shows that the cities or towns that aren't like Empire City or Beach City aren't really important. And to tell you the truth, with the knowledge of what Steven had with the other places, I'm pretty sure that his knowledge of Jersey is mainly the fact that it's just basically a town and nothing more. If anyone's curious of what I mean, I saw it from a reaction channel where 4 people were reacting to this episode from Steven Universe, and they laughed at the Jersey jokes. It really shows that there were a lot more jokes from this show that I wasn't laughing all the time, and just by seeing 4 people reacting at the Jersey jokes really shows. Anyway, let's get into the origins of Lapis that's been revealed in the second half of the episode. While they were flying up in the sky, Lapis saw the galaxy warp, and she was distracted, which causes her to slip Steven out of her grasp, only for her to grab him before he fell. During the battle in the past involving the Gem War, one of the soldiers who's a bismuth punched Lapis, which causes her to poof, all the while that when all the gems are running, Paul manages to find the gem of Lapis and takes it and put it in a meal. thus leading to the events of Meal and Ocean Gem that I talked about 2 years ago. With this backstory not being fleshed out, to tell you the truth, it doesn't really need to, considering that what Lapis went through was mainly her struggles and trauma that she dealt with, along with the toxic relationship that she was put into a fusion with Jasper. I'll admit I wanted more when it comes to Lapis's character, but the more I think about it, it kind of feels like that they really wanted you to see a different point of view involving one of the gems that aren't the crystal gems. And every time I see Lapis in this episode, along with the following episodes, she really doesn't really need a lot of fleshing out when it comes to her development. Granted, there are questionable choices, but the more you think about it, it really makes her more different in comparison to Peridot. She wants to stay at the barn because she cannot trust the crystal gems enough. So in all honesty, in the predicament that if she were to side with the crystal gems and doing the missions, I'm pretty sure it's not going to help any favors for the stress and trauma that she went through. And whenever I think about what ends up coming in the following episodes, it kind of shows that she can't be able to move forward, despite the fact that with her being free, she has no other place to stay. I can get on board on the fact that the crystal gems don't need the assistance of Peridot and Lapis, even if they may contribute into other attributes that the crystal gems don't have. But at the same time, with the barn being mostly a major area in Season 2 and onward, makes me think that they really wanted Lapis and Peridot to have a different technique and different direction rather than having the same direction as the crystal gems, because what Steven established in Message Received, Peridot is a crystal gem, and with Lapis joining in, she's also a crystal gem. Speaking of Peridot, the following episode is gonna be an interesting take. I enjoyed this episode, but when it comes to the following episode, it really shows that my opinions have changed over time. I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10.